Welcome everyone to Heat 1 at Round 8 of the Oregon State Karting Championship Series. This is being held, as always, at the Mac track out in McMinnville, Oregon. Fantastic track, very flowy and quick, especially compared to some of the other regional tracks in the area. So here we go, leaving the pits for the warm-up lap. So as you may have seen in prior videos, this club does standing starts for the LO206 class. So we're going to do 1.5 warm-up laps and then go to the grid. So I'm starting this race in P5. I qualified 5th out of 10 drivers in LO206 Senior this race. It was a very close qualifying. P3 through 5, we were separated by less than 0.2 of a second. So nearly a blink of an eye over the full course of the lap. Very, very close, and it should be a lot of fun. So yeah, the two fast guys, Andy and Jeff, they were a full second down the road. They're on a different level. So yeah, props to those guys and hope to someday be up there with them. Alright, so we're going to come around the final 2 corners and grid up. So something worth noting too is you'll sort of notice there's 2 groups. There's a group up ahead, that is the 206 Junior 2 class. So they're going to be on the track with us as well, but there's actually going to be 2 green flags. The first one is going to be starting the Junior 2 class, and you'll see the seniors stay put, and then the track marshals will give them a few seconds to get out in front, and then the second green flag will drop for the senior class. It's a beautiful day, actually the whole weekend. About mid-70s and pretty consistent, so not a whole lot of changes needing to be made to tire pressures and that sort of thing as the temps and conditions evolved, which was quite nice. It was pretty consistent. So there you go, Junior 2 is on their way down the road. Now we're just looking for the green flag for the senior class. Flag is up. Green flag. Fairly good immediately off the line, although I'm still lagging a bit behind, kind of in the first 100, 200 feet. As you can see there, 122 gets a pull on me. File in around turn 2, hoping to stay just on this bumper and stay in touch with that leader group. So, an okay start for me, lost 1 position, but definitely much better than the prior race where I was, well, as you see, 122 get a little bit of a squeeze, able to make it through there. The prior race, I figured out that actually my head gasket was blown and was leaking down 30% of the compression. So got that fixed, was very excited to come to the track this weekend and see what I could do. Definitely improved. I still need to figure out some stuff off the line. I think the low-end carburation needs some tuning. Very fast into turn 1, heavy braking zone. It's quite tricky actually in this orientation, but yeah, when you nail it, it feels so good. As we make our way to the back straight. So an interesting thing too is that I was actually trying a slightly higher gear ratio than I normally would run. This worked well for me in qualifying. However, I was finding that just out of the exits of the corners, I was geared just slightly too high compared to the others, and couldn't quite make up that deficit by the end of the straights like I would otherwise hope to. So I'll play around with it later in the day. So still staying on Lawrence's bumper there. That's kart 368 up ahead. Such a nice guy. We have raced quite a bit together now. That line looked a little funky. That was because there was somebody actually trying to come up my outside, so I needed to give them space. Almost drop a tire off the edge there. So basically, at this point, and over the next few laps, I have a driver all over my rear end. trying to get around me. So I'm taking some defensive lines here just to try to close off an easy overtake, as you can see right here. Normally wouldn't go as inside there. I would swing more wide for the entry. Coming down the front straight, trying to nail that braking zone, nail the turn in, get on the gas as early as you can without pushing too deep. Flat through that right-hander here. And this turn too is also pretty tricky. It's slightly off cambered, at least it feels like it is, and kind of has that weird kink right at the beginning in this layout. As you can see here, slightly inside line coming into the S's. I was struggling with grip through the S's all weekend. Part of it is definitely technique and my line, so got some stuff to work on there, but I do also feel like I need to, potentially there are some chassis adjustments I could make that could help. So here there's a driver at my outside rather. That's pretty hard to overtake into turn 1 on the outside, so I wasn't too worried about it. I just needed to make sure I left space on the exit. However, here the driver is really wanting to get around me, so that's pretty much all I was focused on, and unfortunately we sort of lose touch with that group up ahead because I'm having to defend. A little bit better through the S's that time. Flat through the final 2 corners. And just, again, spotting that break point, turn-in point for turn 1. That's the name of the game. So you see Lawrence look for a move to the inside. Really happy with that. Turn 1. Oop, lose the rear end a little bit through turn 2. That'll really bog me down. However, this is unfortunate right here. Boom. I get hit pretty hard in the back right into the braking zone. That's what's known as a bump pass. Really frustrating because I felt like I was driving defensively really well and, making them work. And all of that went to waste just by kind of an unfortunate move there by the other driver pushing me along. But it is what it is. Just going to try to put in some quick laps. And actually, I believe this lap is my fastest lap the entire race, if I'm not mistaken. So I was able to put in some pretty good times here with this gearing. Pretty good exit there. At this point I thought I might have a chance on 122, but the race is quickly coming to an end. I don't have very many laps left. You can see there, pretty good through the S's, able to keep traction and momentum. A little bit of a wobble there. Some straw kicked up by the drivers up ahead. Alright, and here we go into the last lap. I believe that lap was actually a 46.9, which is pretty quick. I was happy with that. So last lap shenanigans. People are desperate to try to find a pass, myself included. Although I don't think I was close enough to 122 to really make an attack. Here I just drive a slightly defensive line. There's a driver behind me. Just not wanting to hemorrhage another position on the last lap. So hit the curb a little bit there. Managed to keep it on the track, flat out to the finish line. So overall, really not too bad of a race. Unfortunate that I got that bump pass and lost 2 positions because of it. Unfortunately, there was no penalties given for that, so it is what it is. Ended up finishing P7 out of 10, so not great. Lost 2 positions from my starting position of 5th, but hey, that's just how it goes sometimes. Yeah, so kind of after this debriefing and thinking about how it felt, I sort of felt like the higher gearing definitely is faster across the lap as a whole. However, I was finding that I couldn't really take advantage of having higher gearing, higher top end speed at the end of the straights, because out of the corners, the lower geared drivers would just pull away, and I couldn't quite make up that deficit by the end of the straight. So, yeah, I ended up playing with that gearing for the rest of the day, and we'll see how that goes. Here, I believe somebody's GoPro fell off, and that's what the driver there in the red was trying to grab. But anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you over on Heat 2.